Friends, I read to you from Tata Stories, 40 Timeless Tales to Inspire You, a book by Harish Bhat, who's the chief brand custodian at the Tata Sons. The story that I have picked up for you is The Slimmest Watch in the Universe. I read to you from page 51 of the book. B.G. Dwarkanath, fondly called BGD, is a long-time Tata veteran, having worked for 3 decades with the Titan Company. He is a restless horologist, technologist, and expert photographer with an earthy sense of humor. In 1997, BGD and his colleague Subramanya Bhat decided to meet Xerox Desai, the legendary managing director of Titan. They wanted to discuss an audacious project with him, one that no other Indian company had ever undertaken before. They walked into Desai's 6th floor corner office at the Titan headquarters in Bangalore. BGD wasted no time in putting forward his proposal. We would like to manufacture the slimmest watch movement in the world, BG told Xerox Desai. A movement as slim as a credit card, just 1.15 millimeter thin, including the battery. A movement which is robust and can be mass manufactured for use in beautiful ultra slim wristwatches. First time anywhere in the world. A movement in the engine inside every watch that keeps it moving and tells the time accurately. Both Desai and BGD knew that slim movements were extremely rare because they were so challenging to design and manufacture. Even the few ultra-slim European and Japanese movements which existed then were produced in very small quantities. The few were very expensive, and in some cases their reliability was in question, and therefore they were virtually museum pieces. BGD looked at Desai expectantly. Sir, this will be a real breakthrough for us, something that is world class and beyond. He saw that Desai was looking at him carefully. His eyes had widened. There was absolute silence. Finally, Desai spoke in his polished, soft Oxford accent. Go ahead. BGD and Bhat rushed out of Desai's room. Their hearts were jumping with joy. Their leader was willing to take this risk, invest in something that had never been done before. While they had indeed designed a slim watch movement a few years earlier, which had also won an award in 1996, the proposed ultra slim 1.15 millimeter movement would be in another league altogether. A project team was quickly constituted, including technologists, manufacturing experts, and designers. BGD insisted that the team should have the best minds and not people who could be spared for a project which was in the domain of wishful thinking. I want each of you to be part of this huge success story, he told team members. They were excited but also apprehensive. Most importantly, they were eager and restless. This was the beginning of the search for many answers. The first big question was, how does one develop such a slim movement with high time-telling accuracy? This would require a step motor with high torque, yet low electric power consumption. The team resolved that this challenge by working with Audemars, a Swiss company, and then married the step motor to an in-house developed circuit board which was equally thin. Later, the step motor was quickly indigenized by the team with even better performance. Then it was important to ensure a long battery life. No one wants to change a watch battery often. To ensure this, the entire internal mechanism had to draw very little current. All parts had to be miniaturized with a strict tolerance. Here again, the technical team worked relentlessly in their laboratories. Eventually, what they achieved was marvelous. The electric power required to light up a 40-watt light bulb for just 1 hour can power this ultra-slim watch for more than 50 years. By the year 2000, A working movement was ready. The initial proposal was to sell this ultra slim movement to Swiss watchmakers, but the Swiss refused outright to buy an Indian watch movement. BGD recalls how a Swiss representative of the famous brand Raymond Weil once told him at the Basel Global Watch Fair that an Indian movement would dilute their strong brand image, so the Swiss would never consider using it. BGD came out of the meeting crestfallen but determined. He had great pride in what his team had developed in India, and so did his boss Xerxes Desai. Once they were back in India, Desai decided that if the Swiss were unwilling to buy the movement, Titan would use it to launch its own branded ultra slim watch. Once again, this was a bold decision because there was no consumer research that Indians had any need for ultra slim watches on their wrists. But that is what courageous marketers do. When they have a breakthrough product, they don't rely on research. Instead, they work to create desire and demand for it. However, Desai also quickly jolted the team into the reality of what this decision meant. Our ultra slim watch has to be made for Indian consumers to wear every day. So it has to be water resistant, he told the team. Otherwise, it cannot survive Indian conditions. This is essential. Once again, BGD and his team went into a huddle. Here was a new challenge. How could such a slim movement and a watch with such thin surfaces be made water resistant? This would require the watch to be housed in an external case which had very thin walls that was extremely strong and robust. Here again, BGD, along with his colleague BV Nagaraj, approached Swiss manufacturers who were most experienced in the world of watches. Once again, the Swiss said no and shut the door on them. Swiss factories were unwilling to accept this challenge or help Titan. Would this now spell the end of the project? Of course not, because the Titan team was unwilling to give up on their cherished dream. BGD recalls that the team came together and decided that if the Swiss would not help, they would do it themselves back home in India in their own beloved Titan watch factory at Hosur in Tamil Nadu. We will open the eyes of the world to what we can do by ourselves, the team determined. When that sort of a spirit comes alive, all impediments melt away. And the challenges did melt away. After several iterations, the external case and a watch with the required water resistance up to a depth of 30 meters was created by Titan. The team decided to use a sapphire crystal on the watch rather than glass, which would get shattered if it were to be ground to such slim dimensions. And then the team used the technique of all-round fitting on the back cover of the watch so that it could be easily opened for servicing and battery replacement. Vinay Kamath's excellent book on Titan contains many more interesting details of this challenging product development journey. Meanwhile, Michael Foley, the lead appearance parts designer on the project, was working closely with Xerxes Desai to finalize the aesthetics of the watch. I was excited by the prospect of creating a watch that was virtually invisible, says Michael. He added, we wanted the watch to celebrate the ultra slim movement inside, to feel as thin as an edge and not really a surface. To celebrate this beautiful design philosophy, the unique watch was named the Titan Edge. What a perfect name! Not just a watch which looked like the thin edge of something, but a horological marvel which was at the cutting edge of technological excellence. The entire watch, including the internal movement and external case, was just 3.5 millimeter thin and feather light at just around 14 grams in weight. The slimmest commercially available watch in the universe, and perhaps amongst the lightest watches too. It was priced affordably as well because Titan had manufactured this product at a fraction of what it would have cost to make in Switzerland. The Titan Edge was launched in Bangalore in May 2002. In the launch advertising, the watch was shown sideways to emphasize its slimness. Since then, many new designs have been introduced. The Edge has been a huge and enduring success in India and several other countries. Most recently, a ceramic version of the Edge has been launched, which is the slimmest ceramic watch in the world. The Edge has also been recognized as one of the finest product innovations to come out of the post-independent India. That's why lakhs of Indians wear the Titan Edge with pride, not merely because it is so sleek and beautiful, but also because it is a technological marvel made in India, which the entire world envies today. BGD, the man who had been rebuffed repeatedly by the Swiss earlier, recalls that he wore the Titan Edge to the Basel Watch Fair in a subsequent year. There he met the grand old man of Swiss watches, Nicholas Hayek Sr., chairman of the SWAC group, on the sidelines of a media event. He showed Hayek the Titan Edge with pride. Hayek was struck by the slimness of the watch. He held BGD's hand for a long time, kept peering at the watch. He had it photographed, and then he turned around to BGD and said, "Amazing." BGD attributes the outstanding success of the Edge to the wonderful team that came together for this project and to the leadership of Titan, which ensured that the team worked freely without any fear of failure. An Indian company of the Tata Group, Titan, had delivered what seemed impossible through their sheer tenacity. This was truly Make in India at its very best. Technology, design, belief, and persistence had come together to create a product which is today ranked amongst the most iconic watches in the world. When we believe, we make it happen. Thank you.